Hi there, and you're one of my 30-day TOEFL speaking bootcamp course students, Hua, and you're doing some TOEFL speaking practice right now. So I think the topic that you chose was what contributions do doctors make to society? Give examples and reasons to support your point of view. And let's take a look here. Okay, so I actually have the rubrics right here. I can see them. And I also have your practice test right here. So let's see how you did with this one.
I believe that doctors have always contributed to our society. Just to mention some contributions, they are always looking for the cure for some disease. For example, right now we have the COVID-19 and they are making a lot of research and testing for the vaccine in order to not be infected with the COVID. And also, they help to prevent sickness. For example, a person with high blood pressure, the doctor, they just not give them medication orders. He also give like a diet, like a routine for exercise.
Okay.
I believe
All right. There's one consistent problem throughout your response. This is kind of it's hard to look at. Is it a delivery or is it a language use problem? But it's called grammatical word ending. So sometimes with the eds and the s's, you don't put those endings on those verbs or those nouns. So you can probably improve in that a little bit. I'm going to listen to it again in a minute. My first impression is below 3. I'm going to say maybe right around 2.5. So I'm going to say you're probably around 17 to 18 points out of 30 on this practice test based on my analysis of that first listening to it for the first time.
that doctors have always contributed to our
Doctors have always contributed to.
society. Just to mention some contributions, there
Well, how have they contributed? What if you had a little bit more of a purpose in the beginning? You might say, because they can cure diseases and reduce people's pain, doctors have made important contributions to our society. Say, first of all, doctors are important because they can cure diseases. And then give some examples to illustrate that. Says, second of all, doctors also help people to reduce the pain they might be feeling, especially elderly people. And then give an example to illustrate
are
that.
always looking for the cure for some disease. For example, right now we have the COVID-19
Okay?
and they are making a lot of research and testing for the vaccine in order to not be infected with the COVID.
In order for people or patients to not be infected with the dangerous virus.
And also they help to prevent
In addition, say doctors also contribute to society by, you kind of restate the purpose of the task.
sickness. For example, a person with high blood pressure, the doctor, they just not give them
The doctors, no, there's no doctors they. You don't have to repeat the subject twice. Let me see what you just said.
with high blood pressure, the doctor, they just not
No, the doctors they. You don't need to say that. Just say the doctors usually.
give them medication orders. He also give like a diet, like a routine for exercise.
Yeah, you might be trying to do too many different things in that response, and it's hard to develop all those ideas. I would limit your response to maybe two ideas. I think that's going to be a strategy for you is to maybe focus on maybe two benefits or two contributions that you think doctors have made to society and then kind of explain those ideas. I think that would be very helpful if you did it that way. You might focus kind of like that. At my website, let me think about what you can do here. So I think you can make some improvements with your overall coherence, the connectedness of the response. So first, go to TOEFL Independent Speaking Strategies lesson number 1, right? And look at that, go through that lesson for the next 2 weeks and get more familiar with how to structure your ideas. Secondly, to help you with the coherence and the cohesion of your speaking, go to speaking lesson number 7. It'll talk about paragraph unity, which is important for you, and also it'll talk about 4 cohesive devices you can use to help connect old and new information together. I think that's also going to be very helpful for you right now. Okay, let's talk about delivery. Delivery, I think you want to work on, it's called syllable division and grammatical word endings. That's a consistent problem with many of the words and the sentences that you speak. So go to the pronunciation area of my course and focus. I think it's like approximately lessons number 25 through 28. Just look for the lessons titled Syllable Division and Grammatical Word Endings. But I think also you're going to get a lower score because of your tone. Your tone is more of a monotone. So you want to vary that tone a little bit more. I think that's going to be important too. So in the pronunciation area of my course, I want you to review the lessons on intonation, specifically pronunciation lessons 36 through 40. And that'll also help you to improve your intelligibility. Now, I think you already did the pretest, right? So you've gotten some feedback on specific vowels and specific consonant sounds you can work on, and keep working in those areas. Now, having said all that information, make an effort right now to get a lot of input, right? You need a lot of comprehensive input. I think a lot of listening is going to be really important right now. So when you watch TV or listen to the radio, focus on news, documentary history, and science programs. That gives you academic type content, but it's also good to hear. The more you hear, the more you begin to modify your own speech and pronunciation. Now, the most important suggestion of all today is to keep putting yourself in the position where you get regular contact with native speakers. The more you interact with native speakers, you begin to make adjustments because they say, "What was that? What did you just say? I couldn't understand that." So you will begin to make adjustments so that people can understand you better. It's kind of unconscious adjustments, but adjustments nonetheless, and adjustments that are going to help you to improve your intelligibility. So find as many opportunities as you can to speak English with native speakers. This also will help you with your speaking. All right, and thank you for doing this practice test.